Hi, my name is Allison, and this video is brought to you by the Math and Science Learning Center as part of the Quantitative Literacy and Reasoning Lecture Series. In this video, I will be giving an overview of amortized loans and the finance function on your TI-83 or TI-84 style calculator. So what is an amortized loan? This is a loan where it is paid off in fixed payments over a fixed period of time. So these are things like car loans, mortgages, student loans, where they give you 15, 20, 30 years to pay it off, and they tell you the payment amount for each month or each payment period. Now, part of that payment goes towards the actual loan, right, towards paying off the principal balance. But a large portion of it also goes towards interest. So you can see here that we pay a lot of interest up front, and as you pay more towards the balance, less goes towards interest. That's because our periodic rate ends up getting multiplied by our remaining principal balance to determine how much of our payment goes towards interest. So in the beginning, when you haven't paid much towards your loan, a lot of your payment is actually going towards interest. But as you pay more towards the loan balance, you're going to be paying less and less interest. So when you are offered a loan, they will tell you how much time you have to pay it off and your interest rate, and you need to know the payment that is associated with that. So we have a formula that can help us out with finding that, and it looks like this. Now it looks kind of similar in some ways to our compound interest formula. It involves all of the same variables except for this extra PMT, which is payment. And most of the time with these types of problems, we are looking for the payment amount. Now, as you can see, it looks kind of complicated. It's a little bit involved. So we're actually going to tackle these problems in the calculator or in Excel. In this particular video, we're going to talk about it in the calculator. So when you use your calculator, you are actually going to go to the Apps button, and you're going to use a function called Finance. When you hit Finance, it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. And you're going to click TVM Solver. When you click TVM Solver, your calculator should take you to a screen that looks like this, where you will fill in all of the information. After you fill in that information, you are going to go back to this TVM Solver screen and choose one of these options here. You choose these options based on which value you are looking for. So most often you're going to be using number 2, which is the payment one. Where we're looking for how much we're paying each month. So before we can use this, we need to know what all of these variables mean. So let's go over those. Okay, so capital N is going to be the total number of payments that you have over the full term of your loan. So that's going to be N, which is the number of payments in a year, times T, which is the number of years. I% is our interest rate. So that's where you're just going to enter the interest rate that you've been given. You don't have to enter it as a decimal, simply enter it as a percentage. Your calculator knows how to transition it to the right thing. PV is going to be your present value. That's going to be the amount that your loan is. PMT is always going to be payment, just like it was in the formula. FV is going to be future value. Generally for us, that value is going to be 0, right? Because when you are paying off a loan, you are hoping to get it to 0 by the end. And then P/Y and C/Y are payments per year and compoundings per year. Generally, these are going to match, and they are going to be 12 for us most often because we are paying monthly. So you have 12 payments in 1 year. The last thing you need to know for our variables is that unless otherwise specified, PMT should be end at the bottom of the screen. What this indicates is that you are paying at the end of a payment period rather than at the beginning. Lastly, whichever value you are looking for, which for us, again, is generally going to be payment, leave it as 0 in the beginning because you don't know it yet, and so that'll be the thing that you're solving for. All right, so let's see if we can actually apply this in the calculator to a real-world example. So we have Taylor, who is looking to take out a $90,000 loan to buy a home, and they've been given 2 options. They can either take a 30-year loan at a 3.5% APR or a 15-year loan at a 2.8% APR. They're hoping to spend at most $550 per month, so we need to determine which loan is going to be better for them. Now, something to keep in mind is that generally with loans, with amortized loans, we want to go with the shorter payment period. As we can see already, it has a smaller interest rate, which is nice. But also, when we shorten our term, we're going to be paying less towards interest, which is really going to help us out in the long run. So let's see what ends up working out best for Taylor in this case, given the restrictions on their budget. All right, so if we take the first scenario, we're going to turn our calculator on, and we're going to press apps, and then we're going to click enter for finance, and we're going to click enter on TVM solver. So when you get to this place, right, it's time to enter all of our information. So we've been told that we have a 30-year loan and we're doing monthly payments. So in is going to be 30 times 12. That's where that 360 comes from. Our interest rate is 3.5%. And our present value is going to be the value of the loan, which is $90,000. Right? Because we don't know our payment yet, that's what we're looking for, we're going to leave it as a 0. And our future value is also going to be 0 because we are trying to get to 0 by the end of the loan. The derivation of the word amortized comes from a word meaning death. So what we're trying to do is we're killing off the loan essentially. So we want to get it down to 0 by the end. Because we're making monthly payments, our P/Y and our C/Y are going to be 12. And then as previously stated, we assume that we are paying at the end of a period rather than at the beginning. So from here, I'm going to need to click second and quit, or the mode button, to get me out of this screen so that I don't keep coming back to it. Then from there, I will go back to my apps button and click to finance and hit enter. Now this time, because I'm looking to solve, I've got all of my information input, I can go to my second option. I'm looking for the payment, so I'm going to click enter here, enter twice, and it brings me to my answer. So the reason this is a negative, again, is because I'm killing off the loan, so I'm trying to get to 0, so that means I'm taking $404.14 away from my loan balance. So each month, Taylor is going to be paying $404.14 for this 30-year loan at 3.5% APR. So let's check it out for the other scenario. So going through that same process of hitting apps and finance, it should take us to this screen. Right? So again, the only thing that really changes is going to be our in, which will in this case be 15 times 12 because it's a 15-year loan that's paid in monthly payments. That's where the 180 comes from. And then the only other change that's been made here is our interest rate of 2.8%. Everything else should stay the same because we still have the same loan amount, we're still paying it in monthly payments, and we're still looking to get it down to 0. So when we go back and second quit and hit our TVM underscore PMT, we should find that that Taylor's monthly payment is going to be $612.90. All right, so you'll notice that this one's quite a bit higher. Again, when we shorten the loan term, even though we're going to be paying less towards interest in the long run, the monthly payments go up quite a bit because we're having to pay that same amount but in a shorter amount of time. So let's compare these two. All right, so for Taylor's purposes, because they are only able to pay $550 at most per year or per month, we are going to want to go with the first option, right? Because it's within their budget. However, it's important when we look at loans to look at this. So in the long run, even though it'll have higher monthly payments, the 15-year loan is actually going to be a lot better because, as you can see, the total interest paid is about $35,000 less than what they would be paying with the 30-year loan. So that's something to keep in mind, is that generally, if you can, you want to go with the shorter loan period because it not only generally has smaller interest rates, but it also means that you're going to be paying less interest in the long run. The thing with this is the shorter term periods are generally given to people with really good credit. So let this be an incentive to have strong credit. And also maybe in, for instance, Taylor's case, maybe you just need to save up a little bit more money before you go buying a home so that you can make these larger monthly payments and not pay as much in the long run. Hopefully this video has helped you in your understanding of amortized loans and these calculator functions. If you still have any remaining questions, please feel free to visit the Math and Science Learning Center, and a tutor should be able to help you there.